It's good to be with you today for Mass Inc.'s Gateway Cities Innovation Institute Summit. I'm grateful for everything you do every day for the Commonwealth Gateway Cities Initiative. It's networks like Mass Inc. that set Massachusetts apart when it comes to innovation, development, and economic growth. And a special thank you to Mass Inc. for awarding me this esteemed honor. I have spent my career fighting for gateway cities like Chicopee, Holyoke, Pittsfield, Springfield, and Westfield, because they hold the potential for regional economic success at their fingertips. One of the most important programs that help these cities thrive is the New Markets Tax Credits, a program that I've been a fervent defender of since enacted in the year 2000. It's a cost-effective way to create jobs and drive investment in lower-income communities. New markets are a way to stimulate investment and economic growth in areas that are traditionally overlooked by conventional capital markets. New markets are a good example of how public and private partnerships and investment can be used to spur community and economic revitalization. However, in the midst of the pandemic, the country saw the immediate need for more. As we continue to build back from the devastation, we need to do more in a way that acknowledges the long-standing shortcomings of our society and economics that were exposed and exacerbated by the COVID crisis. The reality is that many of the hardships Americans experienced during the pandemic were merely heightened visions of challenges they faced long before the coronavirus reached our shores. In the past year and a half, we passed monumental legislation like the CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan, which have put much-needed money in the pockets of hardworking Americans as well as shots in our arms, advancing our recovery. I'm proud that the Ways and Means Committee, of which I serve as the chairman, have authored many of these policies that made a tremendous difference in confronting the public health emergency, getting our economy back on track, and supporting folks who were really struggling. Examples of our committee's work include the economic impact payments and emergency unemployment benefits, which gave families liquidity to afford life's essentials and support local businesses. This was critical across our country, but the impact was felt very strongly by individuals and families living in gateway cities. We created the Employee Retention Tax Credit that helped employers keep their employees on payroll during the economic downturn. And we also made historic expansions to tax credits targeted at workers and families, like the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Child Tax Credit. These and other policies that Congress passed, like the PPP loans and the Provider Relief Fund, the emergency rental assistance, in those instances made a real difference for people and businesses here in the Commonwealth and across America. All of these initiatives were critical across this country, but the impact was felt very strongly by individuals and families living in gateway cities. Now we're turning our focus to what it means to build back better. I share the President's view that big, bold investments in infrastructure are precisely what our country needs. We must recognize that infrastructure is not limited to roads and bridges. Without quality social services such as child care and paid family and medical leave, we cannot build an economy that works for all. Improving our human infrastructure is critical for the United States to attract workers and remain internationally competitive. We must reshape the American economy in a way that is suitable and sustainable for working parents, especially women and people of color who have disproportionately borne the brunt of this pandemic. A robust infrastructure package will also modernize our nation's schools and early learning facilities and build new ones in neighborhoods across Massachusetts and the country. By doing so, we will ensure that the next generation of tech wizards, scientists, inventors, and innovators is set up for success. We cannot afford to delay these much-needed investments any further. Working together, we have the opportunity to propel our country forward. This is an historic moment to make investments that reflect what we've learned during the pandemic, so that the American people will be healthier and our economy will be more inclusive and resilient for generations to come.